All right. Thanks for joining me for another quick and easy watercolor painting. And it's finally spring here in Southern Ontario, so you're starting to see a little bit of blue sky, but it's not always blue. So I'm going to put a little bit of Payne's gray in there to give it some atmospheric interest. Don't try to touch it too many times. Try to, keep the number of brush strokes that you're using down to, down to a minimum. I don't know what a minimum is. Try to touch the page less is what I'm trying to say. I'm putting some Payne's gray on here right now. And I'm going to try to get this to bloom off into the sky. So the best way to do that is just to get some color directly out of your palette and then just tap the brush onto the page. Okay, tap the brush onto the page. And I want some trees to go up here quite a ways, so I'm going to tap the page up higher. I'm going to go grab some stronger color and put some stronger color in a few places. Because like I said, I want this to bloom up into the sky here. Now, while I have this Payne's gray on my brush, I'm just going to make a line across there like that. I'm going to rinse this brush out. And I'm going to pick up some of this, which is sienna. I'm going to put some sienna in a few places. And you'll see I'm just touching the page. Quick dap like that, okay? All right. And I'm going to go across there and let this Payne's gray bleed up into that. All right, let's rinse our brush off and get most of the water off of it. The way I do that is I just pinch it and pull it through my fingers to get most of the water off of it, okay? I'm gonna put this into the green. I'm gonna touch a couple of places here with the green, just to allude to the idea that there's some green trees in there. I'm also gonna take this green and just swipe it across there and get those lines to sort of disappear for me. I'm gonna go right into the green on my palette now. I'm gonna pick up quite a bit of green. I'm gonna put some green across here too. I'm gonna put a little bit more green in here. And we're probably just gonna let this all dry now and see what we get. I think before we do that, we're gonna take you can use a barbecue skewer or a toothpick. This is my #1 watercolor brush, and I've just sharpened one end of it with a X-Acto knife. Sometimes I use a pencil sharpener. I'm gonna put a couple of trees in here like that. I'm gonna put some foliage across the front here. And I'm gonna put a little bit of stippling, a couple of dots across here like that. All right, let's let this dry and see what we get. I'm gonna take my hair dryer to this just to speed up the process. But if you wanna let it air dry, you can let it air dry. Okay, so I'm gonna do two things now. One is I'm gonna put a little bit more green into this area. Okay, just a couple of touches here and there. We're gonna let all that bleed together, okay? I'm gonna rinse my brush out really well. I'm gonna pick up yellow ochre. We're gonna put some yellow ochre across here, just like that. Pick up a little bit more intense yellow ochre. Just like that. And I'm going to drop a little bit of yellow ochre into a few places like this. And I think that's it. We're going to let this dry. Maybe I'll pick up a little bit more intense yellow ochre and put a little bit more intense yellow ochre in a couple of places like that. All right, let's let this dry. Actually, one more thing I'm going to do here before I let this dry. One more little trick. I'm going to put a little bit of salt in a couple of places, and now let's let it dry. All right, look at how all these little cedar trees or pine trees sort of popped up, and this sort of looks like a rocky area now. And that scribing in there, that all turned out pretty cool, I think. Let's put this on here. Yeah, so this type of intuitive painting kind of leads to some really, really interesting results sometimes. I hope you learned something from me today. If you're currently a subscriber, thanks a lot. I really do appreciate everybody that subscribes to my channel. It really lets me know that there's people out there watching. If you could hit the like button, drop me a comment. I'd love to know where you're from.